You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hey, everybody, come on, let's go! Get on in here, come on!
This is the song I had to write.
You can't handle the truth!
It's been keeping me up all night. It's all wrong. What's going on?
I need everybody out there to hit the share
I'm
button.
just doing all I can to make it right.
Let's get this out there, come on!
You ask me why I stand up and fight. I do it for love. I do it for freedom. Without the love, life would have no meaning. Oh, my sisters, oh, my brothers, a working man and all the single mothers.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? It's showtime!
We just got country to a higher power to keep us strong in our darkest hour. Some want to win, some try to beg. For all the guilty ones, justice will prevail.
Get on in here, come on!
They might think we're all half asleep,
You can't handle the truth!
following their trail of deceit. That's why we fight to keep our
I think it's time we have ourselves a little party.
We do it for love. We do it for freedom. Without the love, life would have no meaning. For our sisters, for our brothers, the working man and all the single mothers.
With the ongoing corruption and never-ending tax increases, we have all been victims of the overall rise in the cost of living. People have been finding it very difficult to make ends meet. As a result, we've been seeing people unite by taking their voices to social media platforms and protesting all over the place. However, things are a little different this time. These protesters are single mothers and fathers, seniors, oil field workers, military veterans, construction workers, entrepreneurs, and small business owners, all standing in unity with the common beliefs and values about being treated fair. About being treated fair. I like to call these people our civilian soldiers. This song is about hope, it's about love, and most importantly, it's about freedom. Everybody has fundamental freedoms. Freedom of consciousness, freedom of thought, freedom of belief, freedom of opinion, and freedom of expression. But I have one question. Who the hell thinks they can put a gag order on the entire planet? Because I sure didn't. Did you? I think it's time we have ourselves a little party. I mean, you gotta be shitting me, man. What the hell is going on? Hey, how's it going, everybody? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. It's been a minute, about 4 years. Last night, I actually tried to do a live stream, and I don't think I could ever duplicate that for the rest of my life. It was probably 4 years all bottled up rant, so maybe it was a good idea that you didn't hear what I had to say. Because, well, like everybody, what the hell is going on? Right? I gotta say, it's been a very, very long time. I was a victim of censorship 4 years ago on Facebook here. And I'm now streaming on StreamYard. I'm going to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So anybody who's been wondering why I'm not on Facebook ever, it's because I'm not. I won't support anything that will take away your fundamental right to have your freedom of speech, more importantly, freedom of expression. Last time I checked, writing songs and music was a form of fucking freedom of expression. And if you don't like it, well, you can leave. So there's the door. So I kind of have a number of topics that we've all been hearing about through the so-called media. I don't even know why anybody gives these people any credibility at this point. I got to be honest, like the fact that we're actually relying on them, yes, them, to tabulate an election after everything that we know. Why are we tasking them with basically the greatest and most important task in our country, our countries, whether it's Canada you're watching here or the United States? Why do we task the media or the news with tabulating votes? There has to be a better way. And I think we're about to find out that there is a better way in the near future. You know, you guys probably see this flag in the background here. It's my home province of British Columbia and yes, Canada. Beautiful country, but the absolute worst management team in NHL history. Like, bottom line is, we got some severe problems. Like, here's a perfect example. How is it that for almost 100 years, that little province there had never had a conservative name on the ballot until basically just now? We just had our provincial election. It's like a state election. And I would arguably say, to be honest, and I kind of figured it, but I don't, I question the integrity of the entire electoral system. They use voting machines. They say they're different voting machines. They say this, they say that. They're always spinning some story. But the bottom line is we're using a technology where they're claiming that it's going to take them 8 fucking days to count them. Okay? 8 days? Give me a break. Okay? We all know what happened during the Trump election. Okay. If they can rig and throw in this Biden, okay. By the way, where is Biden? Oh, he got replaced again. So the thing I'm getting at here is I'll just say it. I think all the elections in Canada are moderately rigged. Okay. What's even worse is the water care. Like the I can't believe the propaganda that was being spewed last night, right? Being spewed last night for the last, honestly, month. I've been just sitting back, biting my tongue. And I'm just so sick and tired of these people on the microphone telling everybody that's a conservative that you're a far right extremist, how you have dangerous fucking views. Like, give me a break. How about far left lunatic? Okay, like what's with all the names and all this bullshit? You guys talk about sowing division and how you're all for creating an inclusive society. Well, I find it very ironic how David Eby wasn't very inclusive last night. In fact, what did he say? David Eby from British Columbia stated that that British Columbia has spoken, and the majority of British Columbians have progressive ideologies. Really? Well, David Eby and NDP, and here's the reality. I know a lot of people, and I know everybody else here knows a lot of people too. And I'm just speaking in particular to British Columbia, but we could literally do this from province to province to province, to state to state to state. It doesn't matter if you're in even Vancouver, okay? I was in Liberal Central at a concert, Evanescence concert, and I was asking random people. I was asking random people up in Fort St. John, random people throughout. Nobody's voting for these guys. So again, I asked myself, what's going on here? Why are we tasking the mainstream liars with our elections? Why? Why have we empowered them the most sacred responsibility in our entire country, which is our elections, and we just hand it over to people that we already know lie? Why is this being allowed? Why is this happening? Why? That's the question I have. And who is allowing this to take place? There's no integrity in elections. There's no integrity in the media. And if you don't believe me, just look at the last 4 years. Remember? Let's go down a trip down memory lane when everybody was fucking unlawfully confined to their homes, were forced to wear masks and walk around on arrows, make sure you're standing 6 feet apart and social distancing. Like, do you guys like? I kind of wonder if people have cases of amnesia, or they just go, "Oh, you know what? That was a long time ago, and it's not so bad now." What? Are you kidding me? It's not so bad now, really? Well, in British Columbia, we have a premier, or maybe we'll see what happens because it takes 8 days to do a fucking election. But we have a premier that says people on it's we're allowed to smoke crack in Canada, and we're going to advocate for drug addicts. And you know what? Hey, it's their right that they should be able to spend their welfare check on crack if they want to. That's their right. Like, come on, people. We gotta stop this nonsense. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Think about this. So we have this election going on right now in British Columbia, and it'll be the same thing with Trump down in the States. They're going to say how Kamala Harris is neck and neck with Trump, just like they did at the last one. And we'll go to commercial, right? And everybody goes to sleep at night. So then they quell everybody's emotions because everybody's kind of on edge. They're scratching their head going, how is this possible? I don't know anybody that's voting for liberal. I don't know anybody that's voting for Democrat, because we don't. This is all a lie. I'm telling you, there's no way. There's absolutely no way, even in British Columbia, even in the States. I was down in Nashville and all through traveling during COVID when the big lie was being perpetrated. And, this is how extreme it got. You want to talk about fucking extremists? In Canada, in the middle of winter, they actually, and get this is insane. They actually made it. They roped off like they roped off sections in stores. So let's put this into perspective. It looked like a crime scene with the yellow tape, non-essential. They fucking made jackets in the middle of winter, non-essential. But hey, that was a long time ago. It's not a big deal anymore. They actually had everybody walking around with little devices, your phone, with a vaccine passport. But hey, it's no big deal. It doesn't matter. That was a long time ago. You got to get over it. You want to talk about dangerous views? Dangerous views, in my opinion, is when you can't accept responsibility for what you've done. Okay, you can't. And let's take it a step further. What else did they do to everybody during COVID? You couldn't go to a fucking funeral. So I lost both my grandparents to funeral. Couldn't even go to a funeral. Couldn't even visit them in the hospital. Couldn't even see them in the care homes. You understand? Like, do you guys, you got to remember what's happening here. And the reason I'm bringing all of this stuff back to the surface is because you're trying to tell me that people voted for this in British Columbia, my home province? Are you out of your fucking mind? There's nobody that voted and supported this crap. Seriously. This is why I'm telling you this election was absolutely rigged. There's no question about it. And there's even more that happened. Oh, they had lotteries. Oh, we get free cheeseburgers. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. And, we keep hearing about all of this stuff that they did. But the question I have is, when is there some accountability? When because everybody knows this was a lie. Everybody knows this was a massive fucking money laundering scam. Okay? Really? Let's get truthful here. The truth is, a lot of people profited from a bullshit lie. Period. There's no question about it. All the evidence is out there. Of course, you won't see it on any of the propaganda media that we so boldly trust our elections with. We got to derail that immediately. Think about this. We need severe investigations. Like, we just had an election in British Columbia. Why? How did Adrian Dix get reelected? Think about that for a second. Here's the guy that literally perpetrated, and just keep in mind, everybody, if you've been living under a rock, British Columbia is the only jurisdiction on fucking planet Earth right now that still requires anybody in the medical field to have all your vaccines, or it's such a crock of shit. We're talking 4 or 5 years later. I have family members that work in the medical field that are still can't go back to work, right? And British Columbia elected these people. There is no way. This is why they cut to commercial. They said, "Oh, and 8 days later, we're gonna get our results." They were doing mail-in ballots, and get this: now in British Columbia, Canada, you can phone in. Oh fuck! I'm sorry, man. Can I call a friend? Like, seriously, you can literally phone in, and wow, I
You
really
can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
sure
You can't handle.
I can't. It's impossible. It's like, how did we get this far down the road where basically for the last 100 years we could do elections in one day? Then all of a sudden, well, no, we're not even in COVID. And now all of a sudden, mail in ballots and phone in ballots. And oh, you don't even need ID. You can just have a friend refer you to his library card, or you can bring a medicine. I mean, is there any integrity? Honest to God, is there any integrity at all? Right? But I guess we shouldn't even expect there to be, considering, we have Soji 123 in British Columbia. Do you guys realize that that was literally the testing ground? It was the launch pad for all this perverted pedophile bullshit in the schools. Yeah, I don't really care if somebody gets offended because I use the word pedophile, because you can look it up in the dictionary. It's there. It's a fact. It's a word. And guess what? If you're going to be,
bringing in, like, I don't even want to go into the details of it. Go do the research. Go do the research. Just go look at all the books and the movies and all the shit that's online that these kids were having in their school, and fucking drag queens. Yeah, drag queens reading story hour. You know it's bad when you got to have RCMP escorting little Johnny in kindergarten and grade 1 into the library because the teachers are fearful that parents are upset. Okay, let me repeat that. You know, there's a problem when you got to have police escort children into the library to be subjected to material that their parents don't approve of. This is what we voted for, British Columbia. Did you forget? See, and this is another reason why I truly think the elections are rigged. No fucking person on planet Earth would ever say, yes, I'm for that. Unless, yeah, that's right. You're a fucking pedophile. You know what else? We voted for this other thing called a carbon tax. We're the only jurisdiction. Again, it's weird how British Columbia is the only jurisdiction for all this. And you see, once you start realizing the agenda, because it is an agenda, and as I said a minute ago, British Columbia is the test ground for this agenda, folks. Yes, British Columbia, right? It's kind of weird how we've never had a conservative government on the ballot in the history of our province. Hmm? So, why would we have a carbon tax when no other place on planet Earth has a carbon tax? Oh, hold on. We'll call it a price on pollution. Oh, we'll call it responsibility. Oh, fuck it. Let's just make paper straws. But oh, hey, you know what? Cocaine's legal. Just don't use a plastic straw. You see how much insanity is happening here? Like we have went so far extreme. It's I don't even call it left, okay? It's not even left. It's not even right. It's just extreme confusion. You understand? This is just designed to disrupt our inalienable human instincts because all of this is wrong. It's all wrong. You know in your soul that fucking this shit is wrong. You can't tell me. It's not like everybody's walking around trying to like destroy the planet. Okay. And this is what I'm so sick and tired of. It's like this big agenda on really all it is about is making money. Let's get real here. All these people want to do is exploit this ideology so they can fucking rake in the cash and everybody else carries the bag and they can say, oh, we're saving the planet and all this bullshit. It's been going on for literally 100 years. Everybody's saving the planet. You don't want to know something? The planet will save itself. Okay? You can't tax people and expect to change the weather. Do you honestly think for 1 second that by paying $10 extra for your gas at the fucking fuel pump, you're saving Mother Earth? Come on, think about this. Think about this. Like, really? Where does that go? Oh, let's follow the trail of money. Okay. Do you really think that every single person, if they just chip in, you're going to like call up Mother Earth and be like, hey, I got a great big donation here. Can you fucking turn the heat down? It's really, really hot. This is such insane thinking. Okay. We've always had hot weather. We've always had cold weather. We've always had floods. We've always had fires. Yes, guess what? Maybe people should stop lighting fires, right? The reality is think about how many people are profiting off of that racket. Think about it. People are getting paid hundreds, just do the research, hundreds of millions of dollars from that house right there, one of them, in all these regions, whether it's Alberta, whether it's BC, Washington, it doesn't matter. All of these little areas have turned this into a business. This isn't about fucking fighting climate change. This is about fucking making cash. Okay? And anybody that tells you different, well, I don't know what to say. So, Bonnie Henry, David Eby. Wow, there's a real peach. Seriously. I can't even believe that British Columbians have allowed this shit to go down in our province. I can't believe people are so naive to think for one fucking second that this whole thing isn't a sham, because it has to be. Because you know it, and I know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody even knows the Trump election. How many elections has Trudeau stolen? Again, we're putting our most sacred voting for our country and our states. We're giving this job to media. No. This whole thing has just gone so far off the rails. Think about this. Think about this. Let's just go back in time a little bit further. As everything kind of started to boil up, okay? Let's go back here. There was a bunch of people in Canada, and I know a lot of them, a lot of great people, a lot of really solid people, but I don't want to say their names because they might get their fucking bank account frozen, right? Honestly, that's where we're at. Now it's like everyone's a political we're everybody's a political target. If you are outspoken, if you just want to know the straight up answers, if you have good morals and values, if you have somebody that's just um doesn't just knows when you're getting fucked, okay? Like, people aren't stupid, man. Why do you think there's so many people that just all of a sudden British Columbia went blue? And you want to know something? Do you really think we're stupid? Do you really think that anybody believes that British Columbians voted for more Soji 123 in the classrooms, voted for more fucking carbon tax, voted for fucking crack cocaine and fentanyl and free crack pipes, right? Do you think people voted for Bonnie Henry to come back and, oh, what was it? Glory holes. Remember the big glory holes? Yeah, right. Yeah, people voted for that bullshit. Man, this is the biggest farce I've ever seen in my life. And thank God we apparently live in Canada where, freedom of speech is, it's real. Just ask Pat King. Just ask Tamara Leach. Just ask all the people that went to Ottawa. All the people that literally all they did was have a massive tailgate party and threw down one of the most symbolic, patriotic, human rights. Oh man, that was a beautiful thing. And guess what? Everybody, everybody was involved. All you had to do was look in each town, each community. The sad part is if people had more money, they would have went, but unfortunately most people were broke. And you want to know something? They still are broke. And now they want to do this. They're coining. They always have these fuzzy little words. And back when I was younger, when you didn't have a job and you were a drug addict or you were drinking, people just looked at you and were like, oh, that guy's a loser, he's a bum, right? Because you were on welfare. And the worst part is now they don't want to call it welfare. They want to call it market free market housing. Or what is it? They have some. I wish I could remember the term. I think it was called non-marketable housing or something. Anyhow, it's some crazy analogy, and this is the big plan. This is the big plan. Basically, you know what? We've destroyed the economy. We've taken your rights away from you. But hey, you can smoke crack. Alcohol is essential. Gyms are not essential. Jackets aren't essential. Fuck, Christmas don't matter. And we'll just give you a house, and we'll subsidize you. We'll subsidize your daycare because we've made you so broke you can't even afford a fucking babysitter. Like really, we made you so broke that you can't even afford a babysitter, and we are electing these people. We're electing people because they're so proud. They're so proud, and it comes to mind something here. There was something that happened in British Columbia that I'm going to touch base on here real quick. As we all know, there was this new conservative movement that just flushed across the province. And you want to know something? I just thought it was so incredible. This flood that happened in Vancouver. They're like, oh, the world's ending. No, that's Vancouver. You live in a fucking rainforest, man. In my lifetime, Vancouver has flooded many times. Basements, yes. This has happened many times. And guess what? It's going to happen again. You live in a rainforest. That's life. Okay. So, so what ended up happening was, this blue wave just flushed Vancouver, right? Kind of weird how that went down. But there's this, what ended up happening was, the Conservative Party, and this just goes to show how something so magnificent can be spilled and spoiled by something, just some ego and selfishness and pride. You know, there's this guy out of Vernon. Okay. So you would think, being one of the most, well, we'll call it an election. We'll do it. We'll give them their kudos. I guess it was an election, if that's what you want to call it. I call it more like it's a skit. It's an act. So Kevin Acton is his name. Kevin, that's interesting. Acton. He's an Acton, all right. Anyhow, Kevin Acton, the old mayor of Lumby, uh, he wanted to run for the United Liberal Party, but Kevin Falcon did the probably one of the most selfless political acts I've seen in a long time. Like, he literally just was like, you know what? We're not going to win this. I'm going to embrace John Rustad. I'm going to embrace what's happening here. I see the writing on the wall. And he was like, I support you. That's what a normal person does, right? When you see that this could go in a real negative way, Soji, drag queens in schools, crack, more crack pipes, right? Vaccines. Oh yeah, carbon tax. Anyhow, Kevin Acton, fucking idiot. This is what this knucklehead did. He got so butthurt because John Rustad, and you know what? He didn't want him part of it for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter. But what did he do? He did what, like, oh, who else did it? Mike Bernier. There was a few others that just, couldn't just get on side and be like, you know what? No, because a lot of these guys, they're career politicians. They go from the school board director for 3 years, then they go to city councilor. They're like the parasite. Rather than going and getting a real job, they're always looking for the easy money, that where they can have some sort of power or influence. Well, yeah, Kevin, you had some fucking influence, all right. So this is what happened. He gets upset and he's like, you know what? Screw this. There's no way. They're not kicking me out. I'm going to show them how powerful I am as an independent. So what does he do? He goes around town and Vernon, and man, I can't. You're, good luck walking around Vernon, bud. Like, really? You just destroyed, and we're going to call it an election. We'll pretend we had an election. So anyhow, here's the way it all goes down. Kevin gets all upset, gets his butt hurt. Oh, boo-boos, couldn't be a man and go, you know what? We got to fucking win this. Let's go. Right. And get on side. And the funny thing is all these guys, even like this guy out of Kelowna was in the loyal something or other. He's a city councilor. This guy literally is a city councilor. So just might be a nice guy. I don't really know him, but I don't really care. If you're a city councilor, pick a fucking lane, man. Don't say, well, I'm going to be the fucking MLA too. And, next week I'm going to run for the prime minister. And the next week I'm going to be the school board trustee. Like, I'm really? Seriously, dude. So this guy tried to sabotage Kelowna as well. So anyhow, here's what ended up happening. This is disgusting. And you should read the articles. There's a bunch of articles online. Infotel did one. There's a number of different organizations that were following this story because Kevin Acton was so upset because, he was the guy for the job. Well, regardless, anybody could say, I'm the guy for the job. You know what? I know tons of people that submitted to become candidates and fill out the application, but it doesn't mean they go in self-destructive mode and just destroy something that was really doing well. And who knows if it's even destroyed, right? And I could be eating my words, but check this out. This is insane. Watch this.
Now known as Vernon Lumby. And let's focus in on the candidate. So Harwinder Sandhu, she's the incumbent here. Dennis Giesbrecht was supposed to run for the Conservatives in Kamloops Centre. When BC United imploded, things started to move around. He ended up here, not in his home. It's a long way from Kamloops, but he's running in Vernon Lumby. And that opened up the door for Kevin Acton. He is the mayor of Lumby. He was supposed to be the United candidate. And this is one of those ridings where the independent may either have an opportunity to win because of name recognition, but more likely siphon votes away. Are those votes coming from the Conservatives? It's so Harwinder Sandhu can win. If they're not coming from the Conservatives, then Dennis Giesbrecht will walk away with this because, as I showed you, this traditionally has been a more center-right conservative riding. But with all of this at play here and a very high-profile independent, Harwinder Sandhu may be the one that benefits.
Like, seriously, isn't that insane? So basically, we have 3 or 4 seats in this so-called election because the reality is, again, and I'll repeat it again, I'll repeat it 100 times over. It doesn't take 8 fucking days to count ballots. Okay? There's your first clue. Second clue, do you know anybody? Here, give me a thumbs up. Here, this is how we're going to do this. We got a few people in here. So give me a thumbs up if you supported the blue team. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you supported the blue team. We're going to let all these little thumbs go up in the air. I know how it's going to go because it's so obvious. Okay, we'll give it another minute. Keep rattling off your little thumbs. Thumbs up, thumbs ups, and hearts. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Let's give it a minute for everything to slow down. Everything to slow down. Okay. All right. Watch this one. This is going to be fucking hilarious. Give me a thumbs up if you voted NDP.
You can't handle the truth. You can't.
Well, I didn't get to see the hearts, but I would imagine I'm pretty accurate in my statement. So let's go back here and look at this. Let's have a look at Mr. Kevin Acton here. Normal people just, work together and all this and that. But you'll see the NDP won't do anything to work together, right? They're not gonna, they're just gonna keep forging full steam ahead. Everything that they've been doing, and the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because it's not even the NDP. You understand? You understand? There's something way, way bigger behind the scenes here. This is a massive global machine. Okay? It's the fact. Nobody voted for the NDP. I don't believe so. And if they did, those numbers were not what they say they are, right? It's very easy to manipulate elections and votes. We've seen it. We've seen it. I mean, think about this for a second. Look at Donald Trump. Oh, by the way, did you guys see Donald Trump today working at McDonald's? That was amazing. Honestly, that right there, that won him an election. I would love to see more politicians from across the spectrum to maybe come down a couple of pegs and understand what real people do in a day. Not sit there flapping their lips, making all these promises, telling you how they're going to do this, telling you how they're going to do that. But meanwhile, they just fucking lie, sell crack, give you crack. Uh, the shit that's been going on, it's an agenda. There is a big agenda happening behind the scenes, and you guys are probably familiar with it. You've heard of the United Nations, okay? Well, I don't know. We can't even unite our fucking province. Never mind uniting nations. Okay? We can't even unite our towns. Never mind uniting nations. So maybe we should just scale back our hopium and our ambitions a little bit and really start thinking about the grassroots. And that's what this conservative movement was. And it didn't start in British Columbia with John Horgan. It didn't. It started many years ago, long before COVID. It did. COVID was just a catalyst that exposed it all. Exposed the elections, exposed the pharmaceutical companies, exposed our fucking toxic food that we're basically being forced to eat. And hats off to Kyle Kemper and all the work he's done behind the scenes with Robert Kennedy. Those guys are going to do some wonderful things. Hopefully, we don't get another stolen election. You got guys like Elon Musk putting his balls on the line. Now they're going to fucking try to whack him. Like, imagine this. You're going to whack the guy who consequentially has been the greatest climate change, not activist, because anybody can be a fucking activist. This guy actually put action and did something that was productive. And now, because he understands what we're dealing with here, this isn't about left, right. This isn't about any race. This is literally much more sinister. And once more people start to understand this agenda, because that's what it is, it's a fucked up agenda. And they want to kill Elon Musk. Like, I've seen his tweet, man. Like, they've tried to shoot Donald Trump twice. The guy that's out there working at McDonald's just being a fucking soldier, man. That guy's like, really? Give me a break, guys. And if you think for 1 second that British Columbia like voted for NDP, it's not happening. So now that people know, I mean, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong because you can't. So now we're at that game. So now we're at the game of consensus, right? BC's the test ground, folks, for the UN agenda. It started in British Columbia with this whole UN this, UN that, UN sustainable development goals. It's funny if you put UN in front of sustainable, it says unsustainable, right? You guys, we're at a very, very interesting crossroads. I never ever thought in a million years, I never thought in my lifetime that we would be at this paradox of reflection and understanding of exactly just what the fuck is going on. And we might want to all sit here and pretend like it's not happening and, oh, what can I do? And what are we going to do? Well, we're doing it. And we're right in the thick of the action. And I think it's very, very crucial right now that people realize the truth and realize that it's all a lie. Even these politicians that get elected, or so, or whatever you want to call it, they, they're so they're so bamboozled and riding the high that they actually think they're going to be able to induce some sort of change. Well, I'll fucking tell you, just go ask anybody that's tried. What was her name? Jody Wilson-Raybould? God, there's so many. Just do a little research. All these folks that are going to run down to Victoria in British Columbia and, we're going to try to do this and try to do that. And it's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of you guys. And I just would like to know, when do people start getting arrested for this shit? Like, really? We don't even have rule of law. We don't have any. I mean, the laws are being used to persecute people that are on the good side, that are being truthful, honest, you know, guys like Pat King and, you know, uh, Elon Musk now is getting hammered. And it just, there's so many people that have put their life on the line, literally put their fucking life on the line. And people are still quelling to the lies of the television, of this media propaganda machine. We are so much better than this. I wish I could, like, open people's eyes and I think that was one of the reasons why we started doing some music, me and my good friend Gary from Nashville. I love Gary. He's an amazing person, the best songwriter and producer in the world. I'm telling you. He, you know, we put music out to, and like, look at, there's so many artists, right, that are writing their heart and their blood, sweat, and tears into creating awareness, right? But when we stifle that with lies, when we stifle it with with this the misinformation, like all these little buzzwords, and they're always saying that, you know us right-wing extremists are always coming up with slogans. Well, what was the newest slogan that they called a rainstorm in Vancouver during the election? Oh, that's right. They called it, get this, are you ready? It's called an atmospheric river. An atmospheric river. Like, fuck off, right? You know, like, there's so much content that I could dive into here tonight. Like the hurricanes. I've been in a few of them myself, but you're sending money to all these other countries and you're leaving your own people stranded. And it takes guys like Elon Musk to help these folks get internet back. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything's a fucking lie. That's what it feels like. It literally feels like everything's a lie. Our healthcare. I mean, what's with that? Like the big pitch on healthcare, that's just another big money laundering machine. They don't tell you about eating healthy, diet, exercise. It's like, here, take some pills, more drugs, get this vaccine, get your ninth dose, get your other booster. Here's a pill for a pill for a pill for a pill, right? They don't tell you that the pharmaceutical companies are in bed with the food companies and they're lacing your fucking food to make you sick. And that's what Robert Kennedy is exposing. And Kyle, make America healthy again. How about just make people fucking real again? Right? I mean, think about this for a second. Think about this. If you had this conversation with your grandma or your grandpa right now and said, Grandma, we're fucking, we're bringing drag queens into the school because we're going to teach kids about being transgender and, getting an operation done because, you don't have to be a boy if you don't want to. This becomes more important than getting an A or a B because we can't have A's and B's in school, grandma, grandpa, because, we can't compete. We can't have any competition because, nobody's better than anybody, really. So if that's the case, then anybody can be a fucking heart surgeon, can't they? If that's the case, then everybody should be Connor McDavid, right? If that's the case, then what are we doing? It's a lie, right? Ask your grandma and grandpa. Let's ask them this other one. Ask them how they would feel about taxing the weather, right? You know, I really don't know what else to say other than, wow, what a weird 4 years. If you guys are just coming in here, I, like many other people, were censored and booted off of social media. And for years, I wasn't allowed to do anything. 4 fucking years. I wasn't allowed to go on Facebook. I couldn't create a profile. And I will guarantee, and I'll probably suspect that because I actually came on alive tonight, that this post will get flagged and they'll delete my profile again. And that's fine because I'm on StreamYard, so it's going to Twitter and to YouTube as well. I just really hope and pray that something significant happens because there's no moving forward until we deal with what's happened. Understand? You can't be progressive if you haven't dealt with what's happened. You can't just pretend that all of this fucking shit didn't happen. You can't just pretend and go against your human fucking like your who you are, and say, yeah, this is okay with me. I'm okay with this. because I can't. And I would classify, would like to think I'm moderately rational, right? Like the way I would attribute this to, it's like I feel absolutely fucking violated, man, on every level, abused and violated with what's happened, traumatized. Who the fuck would vote for that? Seriously, nobody did. Nobody. How did the girl, the riding of Hastings, okay? The person on Hastings, Vancouver, the armpit of planet Earth, the place where anything goes. Where did we what how did we get to this agenda being so fucking insane that anything goes in Vancouver on the east side? It's like, hey, it's east side. That's just the way it is there. Pardon me? Really? What's even more weird is the incumbent, the lady that was elected there, who strangely enough is the Attorney General of British Columbia. Yeah, this province, that flag. She got reelected. You know, it just don't make any fucking sense. Let me ask you something. Here, let's do another poll, shall we? I want everybody here that thinks, and I'm going to phrase this properly. Everybody here that thinks open drug use and crack is absolutely batshit crazy, give me a thumbs up. That open drug use and crack and fentanyl is absolutely batshit crazy. Give me a thumbs up. Let's see what people have to say, right? Because honestly, I think this poll is more credible because it's done in real time. You can see it, you can actually watch it happen, your eyes are on it. There's no integrity in our elections, guys. You got to see this by now. There's no integrity in the health system. Okay, I'm sure there was a ton of thumbs ups. Now let's ask the other question. How many people here think open drug use and giving free crack away with taxpayer money is a great idea? Go ahead. Guessing there's probably one. I don't know. I can't see them. But if you think that it is my responsibility to make sure that you have fucking crack in your pipe that you can smoke, you can go fuck yourself. Because guess what? That's not my responsibility. That's not your responsibility. Because the last time I checked, well, it will fucking kill you. So this plays more into that agenda. So why would a fucking government or a management team say, hey, let's kill our people? This is a great way to get rid of a whole bunch of people. Let's just flood our fucking communities. Let's flood our fucking streets. We'll even give them the needles for free. We'll give them the needles. We'll give them the crack pipes and let them fucking go. Fuck them. Because that is, I don't really care what anybody thinks. You may say that that sounds insensitive the way I'm saying it, because it is. You don't do that. It's impossible. I'll explain something to you. How do I know this? Hey, I used to be a hardcore. Oh, yeah. 10 years sober. Haven't touched a fucking drop of booze in 10 years. Okay. So I understand the hijacking of your, your cognitive, all the bullshit that goes along with addictions. You understand? I get it. But here's the reality. Every single time that a person, they have the battle in their mind. Deep down, there's that little voice saying, don't do it, don't do it. You always have the choice to fucking do it or not. It's that simple. It comes down to sticking to your principles, sticking to your morals, and saying, fuck this. I don't want to die. I don't want to live like this anymore. And you just stop. That's it. That's how it works. So, about compassion, oh, believe me, I've fucking been there. And anybody that knows me knows me. So, let's just play along with the game and pretend we've got an election. So now the next strategy, it's time to deceit. It's time to have a few NDPs resign because they're going to get so much backlash over the next few months. They're going to be like, I don't want this job. And they won't be able to handle the heat. They won't be able to handle the pressure. Because you want to know something? There's fucking millions of British Columbians that have had it up to here. There's millions of Albertans that have had it up to here. There's millions of people in Saskatchewan that have had it up to here. There's fucking the entire country is fed up with all the bullshit. It's not just Canada, it's the United States as well. People have had enough. And I really hope that there is a true election in the United States and they don't get fucking ripped off again like we did. Because if you don't have truth within your democracy or your government, you've got nothing. You don't even have a country because it's a lie and it's all fake and it all means nothing. And that would mean your taxes are nothing. That would mean everything is a lie. It all starts with the integrity of your management team, the integrity of your fucking election. It's that simple. Let's be real here. Let's just go on the US election. Let's say you were going to hire somebody. Let's say you owned a company. Okay? Let's say you owned I don't know, a fucking McDonald's. Okay? Let's say you owned a car wash. Who would you rather have working at your business? Somebody that just did a lot of talking, really just had agendas, ideologies, or somebody that's actually built something, somebody that's actually been in the trenches, somebody that actually fucking shows up to work. And that's why, unless you have a legitimate election, none of this even matters because it don't. Doesn't matter at all. I'll tell you, I've been talking with Kyle Kemper. That's Justin Trudeau's brother, if some of you guys don't know. A lot over the last few years. And I got to know him. I met him in Florida at the Bitcoin conference. And we bounced around some ideas. And we actually believe, and we've come to a realization that there actually is a way, and we feel, and some of you guys can look into this, but as you know, banks and financial institutions from all around the world are starting to use blockchain technology. And I know a lot of people, go, oh, Bitcoin, all this, all that, blah, 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 blah. Well, I encourage you just don't disappear and hear me out for a minute. Guys like Elon Musk own fuck a billions worth of Bitcoin. Every major investor I know has some cryptocurrency of some kind. They're holding some assets because there's a level of integrity within that operating system. And it's the level of integrity so high that there's people willing to literally go, I'm going to put $1 billion, not a million, $1 billion into this. And they walk out with a little chip, right? It's a little tiny fucking chip. And there's their $1 billion on a chip. So really think about that for a second. If high profile business people are putting their money on these little chips, well, there must be something there. So, me and Kyle have been talking about a blockchain voting system, direct democracy, right? These aren't a tabulator machine that can be controlled or manipulated or anything like that. No, you guys, I really encourage you to fully understand um, how that can work because, and not just any blockchain, okay, but a decentralized blockchain. Decentralized, meaning nobody controls it. So, you know, I've been in computers a while, so I understand it a little bit. Some of you may not understand it, but that's fine. Anyhow, I think I went down my list of things other than one last little comment. Where the fuck did John Horgan go and how did he get away with all this? How did all these people where's Fauci? Where did he go? Just poof, vanished. Where did all these people go? Where did Dr. Teresa Tam go? Poof, vanished. Right? Where did all these people go that literally caused all this trauma, all this fucking destruction? How did they just get away with this? And stealing elections. This has been going on for years. This isn't news. Okay? It's just exposed now. Right? It's exposed. It's so interesting how the media uses their cameras to try to point and get these, like, for example, John Rustad, you know, they really put a lot of pressure on him during the debate, calling him a climate denier, calling him all this, trying to really gotcha. You know what I mean? We're coming to, I think, a precipice where people are just ready to say, go fuck yourself, like Elon did, right? And so many other people. Like, people know this was a lie, all of it. So don't be afraid. Who cares what anybody fucking thinks? Really? The only person you have to answer to is the person in the mirror. So, you know what? I don't know if I'll be doing these lives regularly like I was before, but we'll see how things go. There's a few hundred people in here. And I've been getting countless phone calls and emails from people over the last 4 years asking me how I'm doing, asking me how come I never come on lives anymore, how come I don't come out to different events. Well, I have been there. I have been there, been at every single one of them, just behind this screen, watching, listening, taking notes, shaking my head, and very discouraged. You know, it would really be nice to get a win because people need some fucking hope, man. Without hope, people don't have anything. Hope is what. There's a great song, Chad Brownlee. He got kicked off of the radio in Canada for speaking up as well. Another great musician artist. He sings a song called Hope, one of my favorite songs. And so sad to see people get silenced, people get canceled. Chad Brownlee, an incredible singer, right? Like so many others that just get, thrown out. And then they bring another one in. I've been watching Jelly Roll here, rising up and putting out some really good content about sobriety and his journey and his path. And, that's empowering shit, man. That's what people need to hear. People need hope. People need inspiration. People need love, right? People need to feel like they're part of something that actually has meaning, something that has integrity, something that has truth, like an election should be the pillar of truth, like your courts, not dragging people through courts because they don't align with your political thought, right? There's so much I could say right now, but it's been an hour, kind of gone over, but my brother passed away 3 years ago, a couple days ago, and I really miss him. That was the last 2 years was the worst for me. I don't know if you guys have ever lost somebody, but I did. Yep. It took a long time to heal from that, and I'm still not healed. I'm just learning to get through the day now without you know what. We people have to be supportive of each other, and along the way, we have to get real too. So, to all those people that are doing the best they can, you know what? That's all we can do. But we sure as hell shouldn't be enabling people to destroy their lives and subject children to fucking bullshit. These are our fucking kids. This isn't an experiment. These are lives. They're human lives. Nobody has the fucking right to experiment on children, on people that are in their darkest time. And I can promise you this, the last thing the last thing any person struggling in addictions needs is more. They need a hug. They need to be able to heal. Theo Fleury, what a man. I got to know him over the last few years. I just shake my head watching how much abuse that guy continues to take for the team. It's unbelievable. And he's still strong. Strong guy. Anyhow, 800, you guys, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I really just want to say, you know, thanks for sticking it out for this little bit of time here. And hopefully we'll do this again. I'm going to play a couple interesting videos that you guys might find kind of mind-boggling. One of them is about Justin Trudeau. I got another one about the banker. And yeah, you guys take care. Good night.
This place belongs to all Canadians. It belongs to you. But after a decade in power, Stephen Harper thinks it belongs to him. So now, this place is broken. Today, I'm presenting a real plan to fix it. Thomas McCare wants us to spend years wrangling over the Constitution. But I know Harper and his government are the problem. And the way to fix this place is to change the government, not the Constitution. Replace this government with a better one. That's what the real change starts with. Our plan creates a truly transparent and open government that will put an end to the secrecy and scandals of the Harper decade. Of course, it will reform the Senate, but it will also do much, much more. After all, Harper broke a lot more than just the Senate during his decade in office. We'll open this place up so you can see what's going on, hold us accountable, and contribute more directly to what happens here. We'll shift power away from the back rooms to make sure your MP will be your voice here in Ottawa instead of Harper's voice in your community. But most of all, real change means we'll give our parliament, our government, and our democracy back to you. Come to realchange.ca and find out how we'll do it and how you can help.
Hello. My name is Montague William III. And what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking and a big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashions and plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son, inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives, whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides to keep you enslaved in your pitiful lives. So, go out and work as your body clock fades. And when it's all over, a few years from the grave, you'll look back on all this, and just then you'll see that your life was nothing, a mere fantasy. There are very few things that we don't now control. To have lawyers and police force was always a goal, doing our bidding while you march on the street. But they never realize that they're only just sheep. For real power resides in the hands of a few. You voted for parties. What more could you do? But what you don't know is they're one and the same. Old Gordon has passed good old David the reins, and you'll follow the leader who was put there by you. But your blood, it runs red, while our blood runs blue. But you simply don't see it's all part of the game. Another distraction, like money and fame. Get ready for wars in the name of the free, vaccinations for illness that will never be, the assault on your children's impressionable minds, and a microchipped world. You'll put up no fight. Information suppression will keep you in tone. Depopulation of peasants was always our goal. But eugenics was not what we hoped it would be. Oh yes, it was us that funded Nazis. But as long as we own all the media too, what's really happening does not concern you. So just go on watching your plasma TV, and the world will be run by the ones you can't